and a warm welcome to you all. Thank you for joining me for your June reading. So namaste to everyone. Now before we start with the cards, I have some intuitive messages for you that were divined before we started the reading. Now you guys could have some issues possibly with your back and thigh, and maybe your your stomach and lower portion of your bodies. So this might be like a health related thing. Some of you might be either moving through issues that have been surrounding you in this area, or you might be experiencing blockages around that part of your body. Now the other thing that I got for you was, don't get into any get rich quick schemes in the month of June. Just avoid people that could be scammers, or if you think something's too good to be true, it probably isn't true, so walk away from it. And at work, some of you might be a bit sort of, blasé about, oh God, can I be bothered with work? I might rather be on holiday or something along those lines. But it might pay to keep yourself pretty neat and tidy at work, because some of you might find that you have bosses who are getting a little bit antsy, or could be even watching over you. So just keep yourself, up to scratch and doing all the right things in your job of employment if you're working. So let's see what's in store for you guys, Cancer, for June, for 2018. 3 of these cards, and then 3 of the other 2 decks as well. This is for Cancer. Okay, well, we'll stop there. The King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, that's a partnership, and the 7 of Wands. So a king and a queen out together. Oh, well, it's interesting. We have the wedding coming up soon of the Prince and Princess. I am doing these readings in May, so they are pretty well much taking over the planet energies at the moment, which is a good thing. It's all good. Positive, and it's kind of like a fairy tale story. We don't know what the ending will be, but all tied up. Let's just move them back a little bit so we've got room for all 3 layers. Indecision and door to spirit. That's really interesting with both the king and the queen. They're tied up and unable to make a decision, so there's a real pattern going on there. Let's see what these last cards, that's not quite the deck yet. This is the deck for the last cards. And they're upside down. Things might be a bit upside down for the month of June. There have been very, very few major arcanas for any of the 12 signs this month, which is a very interesting thing. Dietary change. I'm sorry, these cards are just not quite far enough up. Your wish is granted and debt paid off. So let us see, try and focus into somewhere on the table. It's a little bit hard to focus through all 3 layers because the depth of field is a little bit deeper than the camera's ability. But we're reading down through these columns primarily, although the messages are very fluid and they can be transposed to any different part of the reading and to any other different message. So the King of Swords, it says up there, he is knowledgeable, experienced, fair-minded and unemotional. It says, get advice from someone professional and objective, public speaking and unemotional relationships. As is usual when the court cards turn up, they can mean so many different variety of things. People often think that they're perhaps a boring entity in a reading, or that they're easy. But in real terms, they can be more convoluted than a major arcana card because they hold so many different perspectives and energies. So the King of Swords could literally be someone coming into your life or someone who is already there. And he could act in any of those perspectives that the card has mentioned. So generally they are an air sign person or have an air sign rising. Knowledgeable, experienced, fair-minded and unemotional. Some of you, this could be a current partner, or it could be a work partner, or like a boss or an employee or a friend. It can fall into any number of different categories. So there could be something around him that is blocked and tied up at the moment. So given that the card underneath, that generally means indecision and inability to make a decision. Given that the King and Queen of Swords are there together, there's a possibility that these people are in your life and there is a decision perhaps pending that involves them one way or another. They could be family members. So there could be a big family decision that has to be made and people are unable to make it and they're thinking, gosh, do we do this, do we do that? It could be relationships that are going on that people are wondering, do we stay, do we go? There could be people thinking, yes, they might be moving overseas, these people, and about to leave behind you guys. Or you could be this energy acting in this manner. So some of you might have air signs as your rising sign, and this could be you yourself in this feeling or mode of operation. So it's very expansive, and for each and every one of you there will be a different perspective as to how you feel these cards resonate and what they particularly mean. Down here where it says dietary change, it says improve your diet and your life will also improve. So perhaps this man or this King of Swords and even maybe the Queen of Swords, maybe there's a health issue around them that is either troubling you or you're involved in it. Like these could be grandparents or parents or siblings, and they may be needing attention or some sort of health change. Certainly dietary change covers off a huge amount of things in our life. We can fix a lot of our health problems through our diet. And I did mention at the very beginning that some of you may have felt as though you were bound up, especially in this lower part of your body. You know, like literally constipated. You might have trouble with your bowels, or you might have been recently diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome or celiac disease or some sort of stomach disorder or like an ulcer or a hernia. There could be a lot of things like that going on for some of you that need to be fixed or moved or unblocked or stimulated or cleared or activated or changed. So diet can also help rectify things such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disorders and diseases. Thyroid things can be altered with food. There's so many different parts of our life that food can help or create trouble or problem with. Coming up to the Queen of Swords, she is strong, patient, self-sufficient and funny, and it says let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Now is the time to focus on your career, unmarried or divorced individuals. That's often how the Queen of Swords is portrayed. So maybe there's someone in your family or around yourself, it could be friends or work colleagues, who fits that bill really well. Perhaps you're possibly thinking of moving away from them or finding the relationship doesn't serve you its best purpose anymore. Perhaps that's what the indecision is. Do you stay or go or hang around this person or not? Maybe it's a boss or an employee and you're thinking, God, do I leave this job and move on to something better? Or do I try and move this employee on one way or another because they're not fitting in? It could be your partner in life, it could be your romantic partner, and perhaps you're thinking, I'm not sure anymore, is this working? So there's definitely a feeling of a lack of necessarily knowing which way you want to go, what your next direction is, what steps you're taking. It's like you've got options, but you're unsure. Down here it says your wish is granted. What you've asked for is coming true. So I think the cautionary thing here is to be careful of what you ask, because often it does come true, and often we ask the wrong things. We put it to the universe slightly incorrectly. So one must always focus on the positives. if you have been waiting for something really amazing to happen, or something that you've been waiting on for a long time, it feels, when a card like that turns up, that your wish is granted. Something is working your way. And the colouring of these two is they're almost identical, and this is talking about money and your debt being paid off. And it says the old weight and habit of debt is lifted from you and your life. So this could be a really powerful message for you about maybe money somehow is in this indecision, and maybe these people up here are playing some role in finances or career. Maybe they're like a tax man or an accountant, or you've had your books done in a job and you've got to find money, or you've been told you're getting money. But somehow these two down here go together, they flow together, they're tied up with finances or money. So some of you may be relieved of debt, you may find some income coming in that you didn't expect, you may find a dividend or a payoff coming as well. It may not be massive, it just might be enough to lift some sort of pressure or feeling of negativity or worry that might have surrounded you in this area of your life. Now if we come up here to the Seven of Spring, which is the Seven of Wands, this card says be assertive, don't back down from what you believe, courageously stand up for yourself. And this one here, Daughter Spirit, it kind of is very self-explanatory. It's a card that enables you to connect with your higher self, to connect with esoteric realms, with spiritual messages, so things like synchronicity happening, dreams, clairvoyant activities, hearing messages from spirit world, guiding you towards a pathway for the future. So if you're ready to awaken or hear external messages about the questions you've been asking, such as your wishes, this could be a really good time to engage. You could find more insight and you could find more answers and deliverance, which would help remove the being tied up and the indecision. It's almost like if you look across this row, all this issue here about not being able to make up your mind, they're saying to you, well, if you look to the door of spirit, we will help you to find the solution to moving forward. So when I said at the very beginning, the readings are very, all over the place and mutable and changeable, yours is probably more than anyone's. The cards are jumping about all over the place. They've been laid out in that order, but it feels like they're attached to each other at a million different levels. It's quite fun. So I think we've probably covered them off. The Daughter Spirit, really feel into that one and see if you get some sort of deep feeling or answers or connection or awareness or awakening, especially around anything that's been stalling you or blocking your creativity or blocking your flow of manifestation in life, because there's something in here that tells you that things can be done and you can get what you want. So there we are, guys. I shall put these cards away and we will do your final card for the reading for the month of June and see what that is from this deck, which I had in my hands earlier. So this is for Cancer for June. What would you like them to have as their last message? What are we going to tell them? Okay. Oh, lovely, Master Buddha. Let's just wind that in a little bit. Oh, wow. That's so cool. I've just been talking to you about the doorway to spirit, and this says increased awareness. There's synchronicity, and we talked about synchronicity in the reading. So it's things like that that are powerful moments of synchronicity, and they're around us all the time, every day. It's just whether we're aware of them or not. But when we connect to that synchronicity, we open the doors to so much manifestation and getting our dreams and our desires answered. Deep connection, trust your inner voice. And that's the message for Master Buddha. So, beautiful way to end your reading, given what we had just been talking about and the power of spiritual awareness, awakening, and synchronicity, and the power to know and to trust in your inner self. So thank you for joining me, guys. I love it when you leave your comments below the video and when you sub and like the video as well. Remember to check your rising and moon signs. There could well be some neat information on those as well that is also pertinent or helpful. So thank you again, everyone. Have a wonderful month of increased awareness and synchronistic events. Leave me the comments below the video of any really neat synchronicities that you guys experience, because I love hearing about that sort of thing. Take care, everyone. Much love. Namaste.